Okay, quick disclaimer before we get started. The Blocmates podcast is for entertainment and informational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. The information and opinions expressed on the podcast are those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the views of Blocmates or its affiliates. Listeners are encouraged to do their own research and consult with a financial advisor before making any investment decisions. Blocmates and its affiliates are not liable for any losses or damages incurred as a result of the reliance on the information or opinions expressed on this podcast.
We are back, live and direct. Morning, fellas.
Morning.
Morning. Everyone's back.
When was the
full
last
ship
time?
for once.
When was the last time? Yeah.
Been
2
in and
weeks.
out.
So
We managed to get a couple done, didn't we? But we've been a bit busy behind the scenes.
Yeah,
Busy.
we had a search party out for you, Alex. Everyone's asking how rehab was.
well, I'm back and I'm clean.
Until the weekend.
Until the weekend, baby. Until your stag do anyway. Fucking hell, that's a conversation I'll get. Should probably stop swearing on these, shouldn't I? Sorry if everyone offended. Oh god, whose calendar's going off? Not mine. X that out. Anyway, let's get straight into it. Short and sweet. Prices and floors. So we have Bitcoin up, Michael.
Just throwing it at me.
Threw it in the mic. We'll go back and forth. Bitcoin at 1.57%.
Yeah, so Jesus Christ, we didn't rehearse this one.
We didn't.
$30,584. You've got $1,844, also up 1.46%. Total market cap is about $1.184 trillion. That's down from last week when we last reported. It was about 1.24 last week, so it is slightly down. Binance inflows for the week are particularly massive, really, at 2.287 billion on the week. But over the last 24 hours, even though we pumped slightly, we're still down minus 59 million in terms of outflows.
There is something interesting on that 2.3-ish billion from Binance inflows, which could be skewing it a little bit. I think there was a shitload of Tron getting moved around. And obviously everyone knows that Tron is basically just a platform for sending USDT for $1 per transaction. So I think there was a lot of rebalancing of USDT across the platform, hence why that could be quite slightly skewed. I wouldn't. But the thing is, that happened. That Tron passed through Binance, and then CZ retweeted it as if it was there'd just been an immediate 2 billion from retail investors or something going to the platform, and it's just it starts to worry you a little bit if he's retweeting that sort of stuff when he knows it's smoke and mirrors coming through.
Well, yeah, it's funny you should say that because wasn't Bitcoin trading $2,000 under market price on Binance US, and so in terms of USDT, that had completely depegged on Binance US, and that was trading at $0.91, sort of back end of Sunday into Monday. So don't know what liquidity. Don't know what liquidity is going on there.
That would be the ultimate degenerate gamble, wouldn't it? Can you get your money onto Binance US, buy shit for really cheap, and then get it off? But you don't know if you're going to be able to get it off because it's the ultimate cheese mousetrap. But I guarantee there's people doing it because you know what people are in this space.
That's possibly what people were doing then. Get 2 billion on Binance US quick.
Yes, sorry, Mike. I didn't mean to hoy that to you there. I thought we'd kind of go back and forth, but I proper put him in the. We're just flying by the seat of our pants across the board at the minute, everyone. So bear with us. We will get better.
Alex has swapped brains with Joe Biden for the week.
I know, you said pints there, not pints.
When you get
It's not pints.
Did I say pints?
Yeah.
It's because I was reading the Stag Do chat this morning, so they're just like it's imprinted on my brain. Sorry, what a mess. Fear and greed index is down. It's also throwing me because our note sheet is like we usually indicate whether it's green or red.
Oh yeah, I didn't do that either.
No, we've just
and you're colorblind.
We're dealing with chaos.
We are launching into this today, so I can imagine some poor bastard's probably going to crash the car listening to this morning. It's absolutely all over the place.
But yeah, do it on purpose, Jesus.
Yeah, I know. So sorry. So biggest winners. Should we start with Solana?
Yes, because I've got a long open. So yeah, let's do that. No, I think I was looking at some of the on-chain metrics, and it seems to have a slight uptick, to be honest. And people complain there's not an awful lot to do on Solana, and I completely agree. But there have been a few protocols that have came online and started to do something a little bit different. And there's definitely a couple that we know of that are building on top of Hero that are coming out in the next couple of weeks. And it finally feels like instead of having if anyone was around for the initial wave of DeFi on Solana, yes, there was great opportunities to get in and out of projects, but they were usually coming on at the market with like 1%, 2% circulating supply and then a ridiculous fully diluted valuation. And I think if I'm reading between the lines of what happened with the likes of Maps and Oxy and shit like that, I think that was probably pressure from Alameda to structure their tokenomics that way. And if they didn't play ball, they wouldn't get the Alameda investment. And they also wouldn't get the FTX listing. So like Tulip, Maps, Oxy, obviously Serum was an Alameda product, but it feels like all that's been kind of washed out. Obviously hasn't survived. There's a few still kicking around that are doing all right, like Marinade and things like that. But it feels like people have really had a look at it now, seeing what's worked on Ethereum and a lot of other EVM chains where there's actual real DeFi happening. And now it feels like there's been a big sit down or big reconsideration around how you actually launch a successful kind of sustainable and sticky product. And there's a few now that are going to be over there, because the problem is you get over there and there's nothing to do. Like it's dog shit, to be honest. But now there's a couple that are coming online that it's actually worthwhile taking a look at. And the beauty of it is, if you just copy trade everything that you read online on Twitter and things like that, you're going to have huge counterparty risk in doing that. If you can go and like explore and pick up on these things quite early and kind of go against the grain with these kind of narratives, because everyone says Solana's dead, but I think if these projects get it right, they're about to come online, then it could be a bit of a revival, I think. So that's my take. Yes, I'm biased.
Yeah, good. It's a pretty good take, to be fair.
Yeah, I guess it always is. I guess it's that extra step of obviously bridging, because it's not an EVM chain. You can't always bridge it directly. I can't even get my words out. Directly. In terms of, I don't know why I can't get my words out either today. People just don't do it, do they? And then they've got to have like major reason to get over there. Otherwise, you just sit with the usuals with Ethereum and Arbitrum and wherever your money lies. So it has to take that, I guess, big market or dial mover, such as what you're talking about there, Grant, for people to want to bridge over again and get things ticking.
It takes a couple of people to get really rich and pump out a few multiples, and then people start flocking over and stop being lazy. It's like, it's all it takes. It'll be one, and then everyone's like running around, and that shit will just start like flying up left, right, and center. But like, it doesn't really help that you probably have to use a centralized exchange to get over there, or risk using Wormhole, which is.
Oh well, we know what's up in there.
Well, it's a jump. It's a jump product, isn't it? And Jump are like, have kind of replaced Alameda in a sense with regards to like the Solana ecosystem. It's like whatever they say goes. Hence why Layer Zero integration hasn't happened, because
they've got a competitive product.
Wormhole and Layer Zero and Stargate, I suppose, could be likened to somewhat of a similar product, and that's the reason why it's not live yet. Like, they're holding the keys to the kingdom. They've got Fire Dancer, which is the second client on Solana, which is desperately needed coming soon, and it's just internal politics, which is completely, I won't say the word I was going to say, but it's completely stupid. And I think as soon as that kind of integration goes live, I can't imagine that's going to be until next year. But if they knew what was right to get the ecosystem moving, they need a good bridge.
They need a Polygon BDD.
They should sign us up and we'll do it for them.
Aave.
Aave is a good one. I think the governance proposal for Go has just gone live like before we started recording, so that looks like it's going to pass immediately, and it'll be interesting to see what the dynamics of that are. We'll probably release a report on it as soon as we have all the information there that we can actually push out, so we'll get one of the guys on that. But it feels like all of these big DeFi 1.0 Dino projects are kind of converging to have a similar sort of product offering. I just think it's like, what did Circa describe it as the other day? It's like the DeFi Taco Bell, where there's only like 7 ingredients that you can ever max squeeze out of something. So it feels like a lot of the big players are like converging to have similar sort of products, similar to how you see kind of a lot of fintech apps and even social media apps. They all end up looking much of a muchness to kind of try and steal the market share. So seeing Curve, Redacted Dinero is about to come online. There's a whole host of products that, if they have large enough liquidity, it makes sense to have their own stablecoin as well. But we'll just have to have a look at what the dynamics are like for it. And yeah, we'll get a report out soon enough, because I think it's definitely worth covering.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Should we roll straight into biggest losers, fellas?
Go on.
Yeah. Well, Mike, are you ready for this one?
No, probably not.
Right. So let's
I've
talk
got some
about
hot takes on this one.
Right. Okay. I'm just gonna roll it and put myself on mute. Let's talk about Arkham. I don't care who goes first.
Go on, Grant.
So I got some early invites to Arkham and used it and thought it was like a really good product. It's like a block explorer on steroids, where if you want to find anything, you can basically do it. It pulls up a lot of metadata and a lot of tags. Even stuff like if you've got your wallet personalized on OpenSea and stuff like that. So if you've like tagged it as your own name on OpenSea, it will even find shit like that. So it's it's this really insightful tool, but at the same time, it can be used for the negative as well. So kind of going up against like a Nansen, the guy from Arkham and the guy from Nansen are always going back and forth, having like a little bitchy arguments against each other. But what they released yesterday was this kind of bounty program being kind of coined as Snitch-to-Earn. So like some of the snippets from the video were, can you ID this like hacker? So people will put up a bounty if someone's hacked, and effectively people could use Arkham to kind of resolve the bounty and kind of effectively dox the person to figure out who it is. Like, don't get me wrong, that's a good aspect of it.
Yeah.
But there was also like a card, like a social card on the snippet of the video. If anyone noticed,
yeah,
it might have been me just like
yeah. Social security number.
Yeah, I don't know if that was real or just a bit of a.
Oh, to be fair.
And no, but there was one on there, like a bounty for tax fraud and money laundering and stuff like that. Which, don't get me wrong, like people shouldn't be doing that regardless. But you can kind of see where this is going. And then if you look into the guy who's actually the founder of it, bit of an odd guy. I think we had like a couple of conversations with him in the early days.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's all coming out that they've got like large investment from like Planter and Sam Altman and the guy from OpenAI and shit like that. So, and this Planter take large incentives and contracts from like CIA and Fed and stuff like that. So you can kind of see where this is going. And the funniest part of all this is if you go to the founder's LinkedIn and click on his interests, the company's like under his interests that he's liked the CIA.
No way.
Well, essentially, it becomes just like a black market of info, doesn't it? And that's
well, you could. You could see it being like a big government contract of being able to, like, who's going to build this, and then you're going to get this like ridiculous government contract like they always hand out. And if they're in the running for it, it's like, well, they're probably going to get this ridiculous subsidy, aren't they? So, but it's like, I won't be using it anymore, like based off the back of that, because it just feels a bit weird. And then if you look at the kind of people that are on the cap table, like Peter Thiel and fucking Sam Altman and things like that, it's just not.
Well, I guess like Arkham as well. They were like, there was always the guy from Nanton always said, in terms of it's the best, like in terms of that's what you get sort of thing for a free platform. So you never know the ulterior motives. If it's free for now, what's going on in the background? And we all know that data is a massive driver in like the Web2 world in terms of people selling and buying personal data, and it being God knows it's probably not as bad in the UK, but in the US it happens probably more prevalently in terms of selling and buying data even there. But like they were responsible as well for the fluctuations and the volatility in Bitcoin when
remember that.
It was flagging the MT Gox addresses up, the government addresses that they were about to sell Bitcoin, and everyone was panicking. So
they fucked that one up, didn't they?
So it's been in the headlines a couple of times in the past month for not necessarily the right reasons.
I think playing devil's advocate here for a second though, and it's blindly obvious given what you've just laid out there, Grant, but is there not like some sort of need for that in some ways though as well? Like I know obviously taking out huge government contracts and stuff, but as far as like bounties for hackers and all that kind of nefarious kind of bullshit,
I think it's useful. I think it's useful, but I guess it's if there's no limitations to the platform, then how do you police it? So so then if it had that sole purpose, and it was a bit where the bounties were restricted to known hackers that were identified, so you could streamline it, and you knew that any bounties behind that was up for that purpose, I think that'd be sound. But if you can do it for any, if you can do it, it has no limitations because it's decentralized. Then you don't know what people are using that, and hackers and everyone else are getting the cleverer ways of committing fraud through Etherscan alone. So if they've got this as a tool at the disposal, you never know what they're going to use it for in terms of to find your information.
I mean, it's like cat's already out the bag, really, isn't it? I think these guys have just productized it, but just the delivery again. We come down to communications and marketing in this space. But I also kind of think that they wanted it to come across a little bit that way. I don't think they're like on the side of for traders or for investors or anything like that. I definitely think it's more for like big intel on trying to really narrow down who's doing what and when and where. So I don't know. It stinks a little bit to me, but I suppose the information's all public anyway. These have just collated it, but
the other side to it is when airdrop, and people love an airdrop.
I mean, if they give me an airdrop, I think it's fucking brilliant. But
you'll just see threads now. You'll just see how to get your Arkham airdrop.
I can't be asked for that. I really
can't
be asked for that.
I like to poke fun at a lot of this bullshit sometimes, but there is a part of me that finds it mildly amusing that these top CIA government officials are like forced to sit at a round table with some guy who's like named this protocol after like a Batman, some part of like the Batman universe. Everything they hate about this fucking industry in space, whether they like it or not. I don't know.
I don't know. We stray further from God every single day.
We stray further from God. I'm going to call that there because I thought that was some good information for you all this morning. So subscribe to the newsletter, please. If these lads forgot to say that the other day. Subscribe to YouTube. I feel like True Geordie or something here. I'm just going to end it there. That's that.
All right.
Cheers.
See ya.
Cheers, lads. Bye.
Cheers now.